Hi guys, I'm Manu and welcome to another episode of Sweet Money. I'm a Canadian and US CPA. I've got a cool little accounting firm, better known as Shandel CPA. Before we kick things off, I need you to give me some SLC. SLC stands for subscribe, like, and comment. And for the sake of brotherhood, you got to smash that subscribe button because this vital information might help change someone's life for the better. Okay, it will disseminate down to other people, and all you're doing right now is basically community service, and it's free. All right, so smash that subscribe button, click on that like, and let's get started because I got a banger for you. Look, we all make mistakes. Okay, it's part of life. It's inevitable. Now there's those people that you're going to meet who keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again, but they just don't seem to learn from it. And then there's vicious cycle. Then there's those who make their mistakes once, twice, or three times. They learn from it and then they don't repeat it and they move on from it, right? And then there's the third group, the top 1%, who actually learn by observing and watching other people's mistakes. And those people are wolf who are in beast mode. And those are the type of people with whom you want to associate with. Now, without further ado, let's talk about my 5 biggest money mistakes that I have made despite being an accountant. And I don't want you to make these same mistakes. So let's get started. Back in early 2000, banks were throwing money at Canadians. The Canadian housing market was great. Homes were very affordable. The economy was robust and interest rates were extremely low. I think at some point it was below 2%. That's how low it was. And someone please fact check me on this. And there was also a very brief period of time in the early 2000s when banks would give you a mortgage on 0% down. Correct. You heard me right. There was a very small window when banks were giving out money on a 0% down payment if you were to buy a house. And what did I do? Like a sheep, I was renting an apartment. So I always wanted to prove to the world and prove to myself that, hey, look, I'm independent. I've made it. I'm a big boss man. I can do this, right? What I should have done in hindsight is I should have lived at home. I should have bought an investment property. I would have built equity. I would have saved money by living at home. And then I should have bought a second property, which would have been my personal dwelling, right? So the takeaway is, guys, listen, the early 2000s might not come back. It might never, ever come back. It was the golden era. But the whole teaching from this is there's always opportunities around you. It might not be in the housing market. It might be somewhere else. But if you keep your eyes and ears open and you develop that wolf mentality, you will recognize it, jump on it, take advantage of it, and go into beast mode. Look, I lived in fear, I admit it. Like most Canadians, I had this fearful mindset in which I saved money instead of growing my money. Okay? And the difference is very subtle, but the impact is exponential. So just a little bit about myself. I grew up with very little. So therefore, I had developed a scarcity mindset. And then when I got my education, I became an accountant and I worked in the FP&A field. I used to help companies grow their businesses through different FP&A tools like ROI, NPV, IRR, budgeting, forecasting, and so on and so forth, right? Yet I never applied these tools to my personal life despite having mastered it. Because in my mind, I thought, you know what? I'm just a normal guy. I'm just the average Canadian. My life is going to revolve around paying mortgage, paying my bills, saving some money in my RSP, retiring, taking that annual vacation, and that would be it. That would be my life, right? And I thought passive income and exponential growth and this luxurious lifestyle was not for me. It was for entrepreneurs. It was for those who were already rich. And I was wrong. And I wish someone had sat me down back then and said, Manu, why don't you apply what you know to your own personal finances? So the takeaway is, don't develop a scarcity mindset, okay? you will manifest whatever it is that you work towards. Therefore, when you see something that you want in life, never say to yourself, this is too expensive, I can't afford it. Say to yourself, I want to buy this. What can I do in my everyday life so that I can afford it? Achieve and strive what you want. Okay. Don't never ever say to yourself, this is out of my reach. And one more thing, disclaimer, taking a loan to buy a depreciating asset such as cars or whatever is not what I'm selling here. What I'm selling to you is for you to go into beast mode and achieve your goals. Coming back to my youth, I was raised with the mindset of get an education and then find a good job. Get an education, find a good job. Every school year, it's what I was told. September after Labor Day, I'd go to school, you get a good education, and you find a good job. And that was just ingrained into me like a woodpecker. Okay. But as an educated, independent thinker, I didn't challenge this indoctrination. The thought of entrepreneurship never crossed my mind. It took me 20 years after graduating from university to sit down. Actually, it was during COVID when I actually sat down and I said to myself, wait a second. Why am I doing this? Right? Why am I going to a job where I don't feel content? Why am I not doing what I want to do? And it took me a long time. And I was also tired of working for idiots and clowns. It was just a very miserable time. COVID was going on. My work sucked, and it almost backed me into my calling. So it wasn't me running towards it. It was the universe pushing me towards it. It feels as if God had pity on me, as if he had mercy on me and paved the path for me instead of me getting up and trying to pave the path myself. And of course, I had my wife's 1000% support, which made the transition very easy. And babe, if you're watching, I love you. So there's two key takeaways. Number one, marry the right person. Okay. Because I've gone through the school of hard knocks. You're better off being single and miserable versus married and miserable. And I speak from experience here. Okay. And number two, the only path to generational wealth is entrepreneurship. Okay. Now, having said that, there are a lot of entrepreneurs, especially on LinkedIn, who look very, very successful. And a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling. So what you see on LinkedIn is not reality. A lot of entrepreneurs are struggling. Okay. But at least they can go on their deathbed saying, I tried. I never spent money on myself. Okay, straight up, I didn't, and it is what it is. From the day of my graduation up until now, I can probably count on one hand when I treated myself. Okay, so for me to treat myself is very far and few occasions, but I don't feel like I've missed out on anything. I don't see value in a lot of luxurious items. I think it's more for people to satisfy their own ego and their own insecurities, but they don't really add any value to their personal life. And I guess I've realized that. So I've never really chased, brand items or luxurious items. But having said that, I've never treated myself, and it is what it is, right? But now, after all these years, I realize the importance of dressing well. And now I've come to this conclusion. And as I replenish my wardrobe, I am open to spending more money than I would have in the past on clothes. And the reason for that is when you buy quality fabric, tailored fit, clothes, and you wear mint condition clothes, stylish shoes, a classy watch, a well-fitted belt, your shoes, your belt should match, and this and that, right? It screams sophistication. When you dress well, it impacts your mindset. It impacts the way you carry yourself. People treat you differently. It attracts quality people towards you. So for me, this new learning, which I have recently adopted, as I replenish my old clothes, I will be mindful of purchasing clothes with finer fabrics. So the takeaway from this is carry yourself today the way you would carry yourself if you were super successful. Okay. Now, the energy, the thoughts, and the vibe that you transmit is the same energy vibe that will come back to you exponentially. Outside of accounting and Excel, I never bothered to learn other crucial skills. This was my biggest mistake because during my early days, I went to the gym and I went to the gym regularly. I had a very healthy body. I was fit, but I never achieved peak physical performance. I never pushed myself to lose more body fat or add more muscle, right? I didn't have that mindset. I didn't take courses on the art of communication or the art of networking, or I didn't get the opportunity to pursue my hobbies or travel and see the world, right? So I never had the itch to hang out with successful people who understood money and who could have taught me. So I never learned how to hustle in the streets. And I thought getting an education, and mind you, it was a good education, but I thought getting an education was all the investment I needed in myself. And man, was I wrong. I see so many young adults making the same mistake. They get their education, they find a job, and I see them wasting their life on social media. So, if you're one of those people watching or listening, or if you know someone who's doing this, please share this video with them and make sure they zero in on this mistake that I made. What you need to do and what I should have done is I should have invested in myself. Develop a lifelong learning mindset. The world is changing at an exponential pace. And if you don't keep up, the world will have no pity, no problem leaving you behind. Knowledge is power. Absorb it as much as possible. Diversify your skill sets. Along with your technical skills, enhance your soft skills. Treat your body the way you would treat a brand new Ferrari, right? Strengthen your spiritual self. And if someone had said all this to me when I was in my early 20s, I probably could have avoided other mistakes that I've made in my life, right? But it doesn't matter. It is what it is. So I am saying this to you now. Therefore, pay attention, because remember, it all starts with a simple conversation.